he quotes one of the early Salaf, or one of the early scholars, who was asked to make sajda. And he said, the heart makes sajda, and it remains that way until it meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what he meant is that the heart, it has its own way of showing humility and submission and surrender to Allah. So just like the sajda, we show outwardly our surrender to Allah, our submission, our devotion to Allah. The heart does that, but not just in the salah, all the time. It surrenders itself to its creator, to the one who it loves. And he mentioned how the repetition of the sajda, it has an effect of building up the iman and building up the ma'rifah, the knowledge of Allah, or the connection with Allah. The more you repeat that sajda, the more you make that gnosis or that understanding of Allah stronger. It's like washing a robe. You wash it once, it becomes clean. You wash it again, and it gets more and more clean. Or it's like eating food when you're very hungry. So the more you repeat the salah, the 4 rak'ahs or the 3 rak'ahs or whatever salah, the more you repeat the sajda, it's like until you become satisfied. So the salah should be like that, the sajda should be like that. And then Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he mentions 2 things. He says that salah is built on 5 major components. It's standing and qira'ah and ruku'ah and sujood and dhikr. So he said these are the 5 things that you find in the salah. You stand up, we recite the Quran, we make the bowing, we do sajda, and we have to have dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You find these all in different ayahs of the Quran. But interestingly, if you look at the first surah that was revealed, which surah? We all know, right? Iqra. The first thing is recite, and the last word in the surah? Sajdah. So it begins with qira'ah and it ends with sajda. So the first revelation, even before salah was revealed, was talking about reciting and then making sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the salah it fulfills all of these things. And then the Shaykh, he says something very beautiful, which is that the relationship of the heart to our nafs. Many people, we don't really make a difference. We don't know the difference. The heart, he says, it's in control, or it tries to control the nafs, which is rebellious. The nafs is your desires, hunger, lust, and so on. So the nafs wants to break away. It doesn't like to be a slave. It wants to rebel. And the heart is constantly trying to remind and control the nafs. And if the heart is successful, then by reminding the nafs, it will be an obedient servant to Allah. But if the heart is overpowered by the nafs, then the nafs will overpower the human being, and it will corrupt the human being. So the heart has to be in control. And he says it's like a person who, somebody owes a debt. The nafs, it owes a debt. And the heart is like a guarantor. So your heart, you have to beware, if your nafs doesn't pay its debt, the heart is going to be held accountable, right? When you co-sign for something. This is the example Ibn al-Qayyim gives. The heart is going to be responsible if the nafs is not put in check. So you should do everything you can to control your nafs. And this is kind of one of the trainings that we do in the salah, is we try to get our heart to be focused on Allah, even though the nafs doesn't want to. He wants to run away, he wants to rebel and forget about Allah. So we said, remember, because in the end, the heart is going to be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the heart is going to be held into account. But the nafs is going to be either take it to success. If the heart is successful in controlling the nafs, they will both be successful. Ya ayyatuha an-nafs al-mutma'inna irji'i ila rabbiki. But if the heart fails in its job, the evil, the nafs, the animal self will overpower, and then it will go to the punishment. May Allah protect us all. May Allah help us to train our minds, our hearts to be more obedient to Allah. Subhanallah, wa bihamdihi, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh.